Hey everybody, it's Andres Gonzalez with episode 3 of the Real Estate Podcast. We are officially back. Season 2 is back, baby. I just wanted to share with you guys my amazing experience that I just recently had this month. I actually purchased my first home. As you guys may know, I am 20 years old and I do real estate full time, but that does not mean that you are not able to purchase your first home at 20 years old. I wanted to share with you guys my experience, what I did step by step, and how you could replicate it for your own, and to also show that not because you're just graduating high school or getting into college that you are not able to purchase your first home. I've actually had plenty of clients at the ages of 20, 21, 22, 23 purchase their first home, and you could definitely replicate this doing the same steps I did. Now, please keep in mind, everybody's experience is going to be a little different based off of financial situations and wants and needs. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of what I was able to do. So the first property I actually purchased was located in Florence, Arizona. And a lot of people may be asking, why the heck did you decide to purchase in Florence? The reason for this is because I saw I have an eye of opportunity, and I know there's going to be a lot of businesses and jobs moving to the east side of Phoenix. And this specific community had a lot of great amenities, and the pricing was just right. I did end up purchasing this property at $344,000 when it was actually originally being marketed as $350,000. This is actually a pretty key point because a lot of people don't know, but you're actually able to negotiate for yourself when you are working with builders. This is why it's very crucial for you to have an aggressive real estate agent as myself on your side, negotiating for your behalf and saving you the most money possible. This specific community in Florence actually offers great amenities such as a pool, playgrounds, and a recreational center, which is perfect for resale purposes and as well as an investment opportunity. Just a disclaimer, I do not intend to live in this property, and I do have the intentions of renting it out right away, which is a very big point as to why I wanted to do this purchase here in this community. Now, getting into the financing of things, you do need 2 years of taxes. So if you do have those 2 years or you're coming up on your 2 years, make sure to get in touch with me so we can kind of get an analyzation of what your situation is and what would be the best route to take accordingly. With this specific property, I did put about 10% down, which is actually not needed. This is more than enough. You could actually purchase your first home with as little as 3 to 3.5%. I've even had families buy a home with $2,000 to $3,000 utilizing down payment assistance programs. The second part is your credit. The good thing is I've definitely paid attention to my credit and kept good care of it, which gave me the facility of utilizing the conventional loan, which was the best product available for me in this situation. A lot of people do not know, but you could actually qualify for a home with as little as a 580 FICO score, and you have access to a lot of down payment assistance programs starting at 600. Not only that, this builder was actually offering a 5% interest rate incentive when today's market we're actually sitting between a 6 to 7%. On top of that, they offer the 2-1 buy down program, which if you don't know or you're not familiar with what that is, you essentially get an interest rate discount on your first 2 years. So my first year is actually 3%. My second year is going to turn into a 4%, and then it's going to stay flat at a 5%. With that 10% down payment at a $344,000 purchase price, my PITI came around to be $1,850. And if you're not familiar with PITI, it's principal, interest, insurance, and taxes. And before purchasing this property, a big thing that enticed me was because when I did look at the numbers for the first year, being at about an $1,850, and the rent in that area is actually going around $1,800 as well, I knew if I was able to purchase this property my first year, the most out of pocket I would be coming out at a month would be about $100. And a lot of people say, why did you purchase this property if you knew you weren't going to be cash flowing right away? And the reason for this is because you don't have to cash flow every single time. A lot of people don't know, but the money that you actually come out of pocket with your investments is actually a tax deductible at the end of the year. Not only that, your tenant's actually paying down your debt for you. And on top of that, the interest that your tenant is paying is also another tax deductible. And with renting this property out, I could actually declare it for depreciation for about 27 years. Now, I'm not a tax advisor, so please speak to your tax advisor if you have any questions regarding claiming your properties for depreciating assets. And I do recommend speaking with them if you want more information about that matter. With this property, I actually also did sign up with a property management company because the last thing I want to do is be taking calls at 12 a.m. because of a issue with the air conditioning or anything like that. A lot of people don't know, but the hardest step about purchasing a property is qualifying. But once you pass over that step, the second hardest step is picking the house. This house I actually bought is about 1,600 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So if you are interested in picking up an investment property, I do recommend staying between that 1,300 to 1,800 square foot range, because the more square feet that you start adding on top of the 1,800, the return in investment becomes smaller and smaller. Now, the rest of the process after I was being able to get qualified was fairly smooth. I would actually just put down my earnest deposit, which in this case for the builder was about 10 grand. There's other builders that are a lot more flexible. I've seen some offer $500 earnest deposits. So also keep in mind that is a negotiable factor. And throughout the transaction, we did conduct a couple of inspections, and I do recommend getting an inspector out to the property, even if it's a new construction build, because you never know what's wrong, and sometimes builders even do mess up sometimes. Now, as you may know, since it is a new construction home, this specific property didn't have the lot fixed up. So I did get in contact with my friend who does have his own landscaping business, and coordinate accordingly. So then by the time we closed on the property, he was able to come in, get his workers in there and finish the job. So when I do rent it out, it's going to be a lot more quicker. And the investment that I put into the property for landscaping is also adding value to my property and another tax deductible. I'm not a tax advisor, so please get in touch with your tax advisor if you have questions regarding to that. So just 3 weeks ago, I was able to get the keys, and now I'm in process of getting a renter in there. If you are similar age to me and maybe not even thinking about as an investment property, but just in the eyes of, hey, I want a place to live, I do recommend consulting with me and seeing what opportunities you have, because the last thing you want to do is be a tenant who's paying off the mortgage of your landlord. And if you live with your parents, this is an even bigger reason as to why you should purchase a property, because now you could set yourself up financially. So then when you do decide to move out, you already own a property which your tenant has been paying off your debt. And if you think about it, let's say in this case, I'm able to rent out this property for about 1,800. 1,800 times 12 is about $21,000 that my tenant paid instead of myself. Another big reason why you should purchase a home at a young age is because real estate is a long-term game. And I am not planning to sell this property. And if I do sell this property, it will be longer than 10 years. And the reason I say this is because with how appreciation has been, in the last 5 recessions we've had, property values only went down once, which was in the 2008 bubble, was because the banks were actually lending out to everybody. I know there's a lot of noise right now saying it's not the best time to buy, that the rates are high, but please, please, please consult with me prior to making any decision, or if you have any questions, because right now I truly do believe is the best time to take advantage of the market, especially considering these great incentives that builders are offering, as well as sellers in general who are wanting to get a buyer to purchase their home. And thank you so much for tuning into episode 3 of the podcast. I'm going to be pushing out a lot more content. Please, please, please share this to your mom, your grandma, your uncle, even your pet dog that lives down in Minnesota, because this information is awesome. And I really do want to push the message that anyone can purchase. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long you took. It doesn't matter that you had the opportunity to buy 5 years ago. Today's the best time to take advantage of it. So please comment down below, inbox me if you have any questions, and let's get this rolling. And cheers to a great 2024.